That's right.
Everyone's watching it kind of fast.
Yeah.
I thought the police officer just walked in. Oh, here comes David.
Ready, hurry, David, you got 1 minute.
We wait for nobody. Don't bother sitting down, David. All right.
Close enough.
Is it 7?
Yep.
All right, 7 o'clock. We'll call the regular meeting of the Cannon Township Board to order for September 8th. And as always, we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Todd.
I would be honored to say the invocation. This is optional. If you'd like to join me, please bow your head. Our Lord and our God, we pause today to give thanks. Lord, we have so much to be thankful for. First and foremost on our list, Lord, we are thankful for Dorothy Marie, who was born healthy on Friday the 5th, to the family of our trustee, Cy Bulk and Marie. We also are grateful for those that give of their time and their talents in this township, Lord. We are grateful that people who volunteer, help with elections, go out and clean up the trail. Lord, we are thankful for those folks who make this township better. Lord, we pray that you give us wisdom and guidance as we go through their decisions today. Help us to approach each person and situation with humility, understanding, and grace. Also, Lord, watch over our first responders. Please watch over those folks as they take care of us in this township, whether they be EMT, paramedics, firefighters, or law enforcement, Lord. We pray that you watch over them and pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Nancy.
Jim,
Here.
Cy,
Here.
Henry,
Here.
Jessica, here, Steve,
Here.
Todd,
Sorry, here.
David.
Here.
All present.
All righty. Need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Need a motion for the minutes of August 25.
So move.
Support.
Okay, that's been moved and supported. Any changes, comments, additions, anything? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 And we need a motion to approve the bills General Fund 19440 through 473 and EFT 879 through 882.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions on the bills? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? August building permit report is there, and it's pretty self-explanatory. David, how are the finances?
Fund balances are healthy, excellent.
Good. All right. Now, public comment. I assume one or two of you are here on the park, right? So if you have something that is not related to the park, because we are going to have a public hearing and everybody gets to speak. And by the way, most places, as you may know, do a 3-minute time limit. We don't do that here. If you have something to say, say it. If you have 5 minutes of something to say, try not to take 10 minutes to say it, and then everybody will be fine. So with that, does anybody have anything in this section of the public hearing, public comment? If not, we'll not have any more of that. All right, so we'll go right into the Township Park Ordinance Amendment. Jim?
Okay, our current parking ordinance had just a $250 fine for parking, and it had to go to circuit court. What our illustrious lawyer did is come up with a first offense of $50. Within 15 days, you can pay it at the township to avoid going through district court. And after that, you go to district court, and then the price goes way up. So basically, it gives an out at for the first 15 days of $15. So I make a motion we approve ordinance number 2025-01, Amendment A.
Support?
Support.
Any comments or questions on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Todd, talk about the Parks and Rec survey.
Okay. So what I did is I included the complete report in this packet because to me, it's a fascinating read. Hopefully you feel it's the same way. It's exciting to see what our residents in our township enjoy and what they like us to continue to develop and improve in our township. So just some highlights. We had a great turnout, first of all. From what I understand, it was much higher than most townships in the area. We had a high percentage of Cannon residents, which makes the validity of the numbers even better. I think we're at 85%, mostly Cannon residents. And 55% of the people visit our parks weekly, which is excellent. 35% monthly. That's both excellent. 88% of the respondents rated our parks good to excellent. So that made us feel good. Top 3 activities were actually trail related, which is interesting. People like the paved trails, number 1. They like non-paved hiking trails, and then the mountain bike trails. So those are top 3s. 96% of the town's respondents support investing improvements to the township parks and trails, to the current ones, and 91% support investing in the acquisition of new park properties and trail expansion. So if you want to know more, dig deep. There's 80 pages, so it's a super easy read. Yeah, would love to hear any feedback you may have also. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So what we're going to do is we're now going to, in a minute, I'm going to ask for a motion to open the Bulk Family Park public hearing so everybody can speak. What we'll do is we'll take turns up there and come and give your name and address and what you have to say. Before we do that, though, I want to give just a little bit of a background here. Some of the comments that we have gotten through emails and other are that why is the township rushing into this? The township is not rushing into this. The county has been working on this for about 4 years, and they were not in a position to fund it. Had the idea of, a couple months ago now, what if we just did it because we can do it? And so we used the work that the county had already put together through the drawings you see over there. We engaged Bill Mast from Visser Brothers Construction, without any prompting from anybody, volunteered to do this build this park or the building at cost. With no profit, which is very generous. Not to mention the generosity of the Balks for footing the bill for this thing for the county. And then Robert Andrus from Andrus Architecture, again, very generously offered to do the drawings, the architectural drawings at his cost, which is extremely generous. All these people so far are living in the township, and they want to make the township better. I will also point out that the county put together a brochure when they were putting this thing together, and they were going to exceed $6 million for what we're going to do for, you'll see in a minute, under 4. The other thing is that the $200,000 that we pledged to participate in the park in the very beginning, we will get back. The concept here is that we did not bid, and we're not going to bid out. Oh, and here's the county. So we are not going to bid out the general contractor, Visser Brothers. But, and if anybody has any questions for Bill Mast, he will tell you that what we will do is bid out all the subcontractors and the labor that he's going to use. So we are not going to go around our bid process. It's going to be very similar to what we did with the sewer repairs and upgrading on the north part of Silver Lake. When we saw that something needed to be done, we didn't pay cash then, but we did get bonds. And we didn't bid out our engineers, who was our project manager and basically at the outset the general contractor. We didn't bid that out because we had a relationship with them, but they did bid out all the subcontractors, and that's the concept that we're going to do here. So donations that have been given to the township, to the county, or pledged to the county, to the extent they have not been spent by the county for the work they did in developing the plans, we will, conceptually at least, we will get those. Those will be transferred to us. The concept that we're working on here is a new concept that I think that can govern how the county gets along and develops these things with municipalities. If they can obtain the land, we can build it, and they can maintain it afterwards. The concept here is that we will own and maintain the building so that we will control who gets to use it, who gets to reserve it for events, and we will also maintain the parking lot. And the concept is that the county will maintain the rest of the park. So we don't have to invest in park staff. We don't have to invest in heavy equipment and so on, and it's going to be built very consistent with what the county has put together so far, and they've spent a lot of time and effort on it. And so we're just going to adopt the work that they did, and we're going to do it, I will say, nothing against, more efficiently. And all right, so I need a motion right now to open the public hearing.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing on the Balk Family Park.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Who would like to come up first? Come on up and name and address, please, and thank you.
The green light is on, yes.
You're tall. You might have to lean into it.
Here we go.
There you go.
Thank you, and congratulations on the baby, Cy. And I'm thankful for the Balks who donated the land.
So are we.
Construction crew, that's all great. My name is Brian Wilterink, and I live directly across the street from Meadow Ridge Elementary, 8095 Cortland. Curious to know if the funds, if we approve the funds for this project, would that take away funding for the trail from?
Can we take that?
No. Yeah. Well, why don't we'll make the points. Keep track of those points.
Okay.
But go on.
Sure.
If you have more than one point, we'll address every point. And by the way, this is not just public comment. We anticipate answering your questions as well.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
Thank you.
But the answer to that one is no, but we'll explain that.
Okay. And another comment, I like the work that the county has done, but we have 5 kids, my wife and I, and one thing we have a lot of, we feel like, is playgrounds. One thing we don't have a lot of is indoor playgrounds. We have a lot of cold days, rainy days in Michigan here, and indoor playgrounds would be a huge benefit. It doesn't have to be an expensive playground if you put it inside. It can be very simple equipment, but a space to play inside. Maybe some garage doors that open up on the nice days would be great.
Okay.
Another thing that we don't have is splash pads. I think you have to go all the way to Grand Rapids to get a splash pad. So splash pads and indoor playgrounds is what I would propose to change about this if we move forward with this.
All right. Todd, do you want to talk about those?
I can, sure. So I'll start with the Keys Trail. That won't affect the dollars at all. So the Keys Trail is funded through a millage that we have for rec. And so when we've been thinking about this trail for many years now, we've been saving and saving and saving and saving so we can pay cash for it when we finally break ground. So it will not affect that. Indoor playground, love that idea. But I don't know about the cost side of that. We'd have to think about a little bit of how we would fund a project like that, because that would be pretty expensive to build a big space for an indoor playground, but that'd be really cool. Your point's well taken. Splash pad. A splash pad is something, if you look at that survey, always scores really high on the survey. We haven't pulled the trigger on a splash pad because we're not splash pad people. In other words, to run a splash pad, you've got to have certified pool operators. You've got to have people who know how to do the maintenance. You've got to have people who know how to balance all the chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So the county will tell you that, a couple of years ago, my idea was when we were floating around this idea of maybe building a community building on Kent County property is to have them put a splash pad because they have pool operators, they have splash pads, they have pools, all that kind of stuff. So they have the machine already built where we would have to build it from scratch. And we probably wouldn't be able to do it that great because we don't know what we're doing. So unfortunately, that didn't happen, but we're shifting and changing now. So those are things we're talking about. So point well taken.
Thank you.
As of right now, though, there's no plans for a splash pad, but stay tuned. We'll see.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you for those comments. Before, Ben, do you have anything you'd like to say at the outset on behalf of the county? Okay, good. Just whenever you want to. Go ahead. Hi.
I'm not quite as tall.
Mhm.
Rita Proctor, 7860 Silver Hills Drive.
Mhm.
I want to start off by saying you guys know I'm a big fan of all the work that the Parks and Rec team does, the committee and the commitment you have to building and maintaining the park. I'm grateful to the Bulk family for the donation to the community, the willingness of the township to help bring the project to fruition. And this park is particularly very close to my home, so I'm very appreciative for my kids as they grow up.
Mhm.
But the reason I wanted to speak out tonight is because I have reservations about the investment in the community in the process being undertaken so far. There was the Fox News article, the local Fox News article released last week that already proclaimed that Cannon Township was, quote, moving forward with plans to invest $4 million in improvement to Bulk Family Park and that they could break ground the next day. This is despite the fact that the public hearing hadn't even happened yet. It's happening right now. So it just makes me question the desire of the township to hear from the community and really weigh the considerations that hopefully others are going to bring up today. It is also despite the fact that Cannon Township, according to the article, has not yet formed a formal agreement in place with Kent County Parks on this. And you've reiterated numerous times that this is kind of a new concept. And so it's a little bit concerning in that respect. At the last meeting, I asked for the budget breakdown for the $4 million investment. And I did follow up multiple times and I didn't receive it until last Friday when it was released with the meeting agenda. And when I inquired about the bid process to date, I was told that the township did not seek or receive bids from multiple contractors, architects, or other partners, essentially not giving any other companies the ability or opportunity to partner with or donate in a bigger or different or potentially better way. This was kind of surprising to me because I've sat through a lot of these meetings where other investments have been discussed, such as solar, which was a $100,000 investment, and over 15 bids were procured for a much smaller investment. So from an outside perspective, it feels like a lot of verbal or handshake agreements in just the span of a few weeks. I understand that the park itself has been a 4-year and counting process, but the first announcement that Cannon Township was going to do the investment of the development of the park was just 2 meetings ago, maybe a month ago. And I don't feel like conducting business in this way is ideal. And it's a very similar process to how we've previously conducted business when you think about Ant Bells and BLI and verbal agreements and not having contractual written agreements in place. I also asked at a previous meeting about the use of the Parks and Rec survey to guide the development of the park. With a plan to potentially break ground tomorrow. I don't know if that's hyperbole or not, but with the results of the survey just completed barely 2 weeks ago, and even more feedback provided here today, it's unlikely. It doesn't feel like much consideration is being put into what potential changes could be made to upgrade or improve the park, given that it's going from a Kent County park to a Cannon Township park. And then finally, my last point, we already know it's going to have an impact on the township property plans. One of the last meetings, Todd, you mentioned that you're already talking about scrapping the playground behind the the township and redirecting the funds to Balt Park. And so rather than what feels like rushing to break ground on Balt Park and really, in my opinion, doing a disservice to the very generous donation that was made, I'd ask that the township spend a little bit more time in due diligence with greater transparency in planning and developing Balt Park and doing it in tandem with the township property here. I mean, we had a big portion of the survey was about how should we use this to the best of its, the best use of this land. Thinking about those things in tandem and how the two can play off each other to be most valuable for all of the residents and community members. And to make sure that we're doing so with the best business partners for the job. Thanks.
Thank you. So on a couple of those points, the article, what Channel 17 put on there was not accurate in the sense that I said we're moving forward. I didn't say that. I said we're going to vote on it tonight. I don't know how I have an idea, but I haven't talked to anybody about how they intend to vote. I have no idea how they will. I think I want to say no idea, but we're going to vote on it tonight. As far as getting you the numbers, I got you the numbers. I sent Ed sent you an email. It wasn't just in the packet. Ed sent you an email. At least he told me he did, with that attached. And what I said was that we are not bidding out the general contractor. I didn't say any contractors. I said we're not going to bid out the general contractor because we have a general contractor in our township who very generously offered his profits to us. And he's been involved in this from basically, for a long time. And so, yeah, that's how we're going to do that. Similarly, we didn't bid out the initial general contracting services to Prine and Newhoff when we did the sewer work. So all the other all the other subcontractors and construction will be bid out. I will say, though, that the Balks and the county have looked into already the playground that is planned for that, and that is going to be through an outdoor discovery. What's it called? Outdoor Discovery Center, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be all natural things, and it's going to be very stunning. And then the other thing we did not bid out was the architectural services, because the architect, Robert Andrus, and his company very, very generously, as a resident of Cannon Township, offered to do, his services, which are right over there, which is phenomenal, brilliant work at his cost too. So yes. So now, as far as the handshake thing and rushing into this, Doug Van Essen, you're our attorney. You have talked to the county, and as far as moving forward with this, what do you have to say about that?
Thanks, Steve. I assumed that you didn't call me a couple weeks ago and asked me to get involved because of the dispatch with which I handled the BLI parking ban.
No, that was not part of that. No.
Now, Steve knew that I worked with Al Vandenberg, the county administrator, for 17 years at Ottawa County. I've worked with Ottawa County Parks for 40 some years, and he knew that I would have certain contractual models and templates that I could use to efficiently define a joint venture type relationship between Cannon Township and Kent County. And I think it's important for the public to understand we're not proposing a Cannon Township park. This is going to remain a Kent County park. What Steve's idea was, and I think as we've discussed it with the county, is that the township would finance the efficient development of the fixtures of the park as defined by Kent County Parks Department in its site plan, which you see on the board there. So we're not undertaking a new site plan or a new description of what the initial, at least, infrastructure is going to be at the park. That's been determined by the county over the years. What we're going to be adding as a community is the financial push to do it efficiently and quickly, as well as control and own the principal infrastructure, which would be the pavilion and the parking lot that services the pavilion. Now, I think it's also important when you talk about financing to understand that Ottawa County, which has an extremely well respected park system, and Kent have two different models. Ottawa has a countywide parks millage, which would be used to finance the implementation of a development plan, such as the county has put together here. That financing doesn't exist in Kent County. And frankly, I think that's a weakness because what you end up with are very large county projects that get funded, like the amphitheater and maybe the soccer stadium and the John Ball Park. But local community parks tend to suffer county parks under that particular model because there's no financing for it. So what Steve asked that I get involved with is a new model for bridging that financial gap in Kent County that would allow communities to value what kind of localized county park they want in their community and help finance the implementation of that. And then over time, the county then can turn with its expertise and its economies of scale and learn to operate and run those facilities. So you mentioned a splash pool. That's not on the horizon now, but with this model, you might have the opportunity in the future to say to your county partner, we've got space at the Balk Family Park, and we have some financing to get that kind of facility implemented. We lack the expertise to design it and to maintain it. And the model that we're talking about tonight would be perfectly suited for that because it would sidestep the county's financial process. You could have that local facility installed, and then with the permission of your county partner, it would take over and manage that particular facility, which you're ill-equipped as a small township to manage without your own manager, without your own infrastructure to manage. So what we've put together in a very short period of time, the county's looking at it right now, is an interlocal agreement that would provide local financing for the county's design and its pavilion, local ownership so that you can control how the pavilion is utilized. Again, with the county's permission. The agreement talks about mutual conditions, which will be developed and refined over the years. But under the plan, which is, again, being considered right now because it is an innovative model, but I've already passed it along from my hands using my templates to Kent County. We would develop that pavilion and we would operate and maintain the pavilion in the parking lot because they're so intricately involved. But other than that, the county will take over the rest of the infrastructure, the playground, the trails, and will maintain it according to its standards using its expertise. And as you go forward, it'll ensure the county park is a county park. It covers some of the negatives, frankly, of owning property in 2025 in the United States. But you get a real say in how the fixtures are developed, how they're installed, and then ultimately how they're utilized by the community. So I'm hopeful that if it goes forward tonight, we can step on that agreement and get it completed at the county level and the township level, and then you can move forward with a swift implementation of the county site development plan.
I was told by Al that he thought that the agreement could be done and presented to the county board in the next couple of weeks.
I'm hopeful. I have it. drafted. Steve and I went over it. We fine tuned it a little bit. It's already in a form that I'm 90% comfortable with. And it's right now in the county's corporate council. And I'm optimistic that we can get it through. I'm going to bird dog it as fast as I can. And I've worked with Linda Howell, the county's corporation counsel. And as I said, have good relationships with Al Vanderberg. And I know he's committed to this model. He's committed to working out these details for Cannon and then hopefully touting it to other townships throughout the county as a model whereby you can partner with the county on county parks and their development.
And it already is preserved forever in perpetuity as a park. So that will never, ever change either. And I do want to point out right now that Ben Swayze's in the back. He's the director of the parks. The county has been tremendous to deal with throughout this whole thing. And they were very open to the idea. And I think the whole thing here is that they do what they can on these parks, but they've got a lot of hands in their financial pockets, and it's tough for them to allocate the money because there's a lot of competition for it. And so the question is, does Cannon want to do what Cannon normally does, and that is just do stuff, right? Get it done, and then let everybody enjoy this park. So, all right. So who's next? Anybody have anything to say? Come on. Yes.
Hello, Lori Romsberg, 5738 Dorado Court, Rockford. And I had a question, well, two questions here.
Okay.
One, I noticed there's $100,000 allocated for the disc golf course. I've played disc golf, play it every once in a while. Certainly it's fun. There are a lot of disc golf courses in the area. And I'm remembering from the Parks and Rec survey that came out is something residents really didn't want. I don't know. I mean, Mr. Olson probably remembers the numbers. So I guess I'm wondering why we're committing $100,000 to something people are saying they are not interested in.
So again, first of all, I'll say that's the high side of the budget. So the range is 50,000 to 100,000, depending on how you build it. On the high side, it would cost 100,000 for putting cement pads for your tee boxes. You can go as simple as putting 4x4s in the ground and lower that cost. So we're in the process of working with Kent County Parks because they have put this plan forth. And so we're going to work with them on how we design it. We put $100,000 in the budget and we're going to be well under that. So I know that wasn't your question, but I wanted to mention that. So I also look at that Frisbee golf a lot like pickleball. So if you looked at that survey, pickleball didn't score that high either. But if you look at our courts, they're full every day. So I think what it is, it's a small, passionate group of individuals that really enjoy the sport and will be there using it all the time. So to your question, should we review it? We're reviewing everything. We're talking about everything. So.
And the other question, and maybe this had been answered and I just missed it in the chatter here. Am I understanding we're not breaking ground until the agreement with the county has been completed and signed off on?
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, if the board votes not to proceed with this, we are not doing anything. If the board votes to proceed with it, Bill, Dykem is ready to go to start doing some site work. Yeah. So yes, because the site work's it's not gonna be the formal road and doing the curb cuts, but we're gonna start the site work. Dykem is gonna bring some equipment in and start moving some dirt that has to be moved anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless of whoever does it.
Well, I guess I would just register my concern about proceeding with anything before we have a written agreement, given some of the problems in the township in the past with doing things without a written agreement.
Yeah,
so I'll just leave it at
BLI,
that.
but the county's a little different from the BLI thing. So, okay. Who's next? Come on up.
Hi, Ruth Broad.
Hello.
Live in Town Square. And one of the things that occurred to me as you're talking about this is what and how is the liability for the property going to be allocated or determined? Because when you have a building and it's your building and it's sitting on somebody else's property, how are you going to manage that process?
Doug, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think, as I alluded to earlier, one of the negatives of property ownership is liability. But I think the determination was, and we don't have an absolute certainty as to the county's view on this yet, but the desire would be that we would, as a community, own the fixture, the pavilion fixture on the property itself, and the township would ensure that, as it ensures this building, as well as the parking lot, that those two components of the park and the operations, the township would take responsibility with, because it wants the maintenance and the operational control over those. Hence, it would assume the liability and responsibility and hold the county harmless on those two features, but only those two features of the park.
I guess just making sure that you allow in your budget for ongoing costs that would probably escalate over time for this particular
Oh yeah, no, we are.
thing.
That's all going to be built in, because the other thing is that with the rental, the other thing we're doing this for is for the community, because this for the folks in Cannon Township, this is going to be a place where they can have events, showers, graduation parties, and I think it's going to be very well used. And the fees that will be generated from that will take care of the maintenance of it, or at least make a big dent in it. And then we will plan and we for the insurance premiums that'll be on the building. So it will be insured and it'll be maintained.
Steve, is it any different than when we rent out this boardroom, or is it the same liability?
It would be the same liability, which isn't much, is it, Doug?
No, because you end up bundling it with your other properties, and there'll be a marginal increase in your property insurance and your liability coverage, but it'll be nominal.
Yeah.
The reason I think ultimately this model should be structured that way, and you're not proposing, you're in a financially healthy position where you can afford to pay the $4 million. Other communities may have to bond for their, if they use this model for whatever park facilities they're looking at. And if you do end up bonding, then the local unit will have to own the financed fixture, at least during the tenure of the bonds. So I think that's an important component. I would also say that you're investing a substantial amount of money, and on your balance sheet, you would continue to be able to score the pavilion and the parking lot as an asset of Cannon Township, which befits the nature of your investment in that fixture. Again, it's not going to have a major impact on your bond rating or anything like that, but when you're looking at the overall asset picture of Cannon Township, those will appear as assets on your liability and asset report. And so I think that's an important benefit for the township that carries over into the future.
Right. Another thing that I want to say about the BLI and the antique mall is what we did then, and what we did then was we said, as a government, we want you two to work out what it is you want to work out on the parking. And we said, you work it out. We're not going to dictate what you guys work out on the parking. Be good neighbors, figure it out, and work together. They couldn't do it for whatever reason, but we were not comfortable until we had no choice, that we ended up filing suit against both of them, and Van Essen has let them negotiate a settlement of that. The big difference here is this the two parties in that case were not us. We're one of the parties right now, and the county's the other party. And we're going to work it out with them because we're not like them. We will be good neighbors with the county. We're going to be good stewards of this, and we will work together to maintain this thing moving forward because it is going to be a joint venture. So I get the analogy, but it's not an apt one. Okay, who's next? Anybody? Come on up.
I'm Meg Hackett. I reside at 7674 Ramsdale Drive. I have a question about whether or not the township has a bid policy. Have you as a board adopted a bid policy?
We have a bid policy.
Okay. And how you're approaching this comply or not with that? And is that, I wasn't able to find it online.
Yeah, the bid policy generally, in general terms, talks about 3 bids over a certain amount. Everything will be bid out on this except the general contractor, who will make sure all the bids are done, and Dykema Excavation, who has been involved in this in the beginning. And Robert Andrus Architecture. Otherwise, everything will be bid out.
We just reviewed that bid policy a year ago. I can get you a copy if you'd like.
Yep.
I think it's, if my memory serves me right, it's 5,000. So as trustees, if it's over 5,000, we get 3 bids.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you have a policy that requires 3 bids, but you've determined not to bid out those pieces.
Everything will be bid out except
it
the
is being
general, the road, and the architect.
Right. And that's my question is, does the policy provide for carve-outs of certain services that exceed the amount that your bid policy says
It
you're going
does
to bid
allow
out?
for that. Under certain circumstances,
It
we're
does.
allowed carve-outs.
Okay.
It does.
And what are the circumstances that allow for those? It's just there hasn't been any discussion of we have this policy, it requires this, we're not complying
Sure.
with it because we're allowed this discretion under these circumstances. So, and I haven't been able to review the policy, so I don't know on what basis.
We'll get to the policy, but
carving out.
the carve out here is there are times, and this is one of them, where exigent circumstances require a little flexibility. We're going to vote on this, and if the board feels the way you do, then we'll stop everything and we'll, I don't know, start the whole thing over and bid everything out, and who knows when this will be done. I, for one, am very comfortable that with the general contractor, who is from a very reputable, very large, very successful construction company, when he's willing to do this at his cost, and he's a resident of the township who's going to benefit and is doing this for the benefit of the people of Cannon Township, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Because the rest of it will be bid out.
Okay. I've not heard any exigencies expressed by the board yet, so I would like
All right.
for there
We'll
to
talk
be
about it. And
what the-
when we
what the
vote, we'll talk about it.
exigencies would be. In terms of the need for agreement or not a need for an agreement, I think you're all well aware that the reason we have contracts is because they enter in when there is a disagreement about what was intended or when what was intended isn't complied with. Just because Cannon Township is reputable and just because Kent County is reputable doesn't mean that we need without agreements. So I would personally feel very strongly that the board should have an agreement in place that addresses all of the issues raised by the complexity of this project before you proceed to break ground. And then my third question, I'm not sure it's appropriate to address to your attorney, but the agreement was referred to as an interlocal agreement. Is that a technical term, and are you proceeding under the Urban Cooperation Act?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill?
I am Bill Mazda, Cannon Township resident and president of Vista Brothers Construction. I understand the questions. As an American, I believe in free market and the strength of the competitive bidding system. When this thing started taking more of a Cannon Township direction, I actually asked Robert Andrus, the architect, and we recently did the Rockford Bike Shop on Childsdale and enjoyed the project. This project seemed like one where we would enjoy working with and for the township together again to develop another successful project. And I actually asked if we could meet and offer to do it at no costs. I understand most school bond work is done where the huge CMs, construction management firms, bid on their fee for years worth of work at a time with no idea what the project design is going to be, the costs are going to be, or anything. They bid it out, multiple bids per trade, and then they are effectively only bidding their fee or their markup on costs. And in the public interest, doing the same project at zero markup is something Vista Brothers is honored to have been. You've entertained our offer, and we would be honored to continue involvement here. Just for the record, we are not under contract to do anything. We've only so far offered to do so at no cost. There's no gamesmanship to it. We drive by it every day. Robert drives by it every day. I drive by it every day.
And you live here.
And I live here. I would love to be part of it. And we'd love
And I
to
think you're very generous to do it. And we
I
really
appreciate that. But it's we're not under contract. And to your point about contracts, we wouldn't step foot on the property to start work without a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So before we do anything there, besides attend meetings and offer our assistance to date, we would be under contract. That gives everybody, you, the township, us as well, all the protections of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thrilled to be here in participation only so far. Nothing has been signed, done, committed. We're just continue to still be excited to be part of the process.
Thank you, Bill. Who's next? Come on up.
Jerry Conway, I live in Town Square over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still confused about if y'all go ahead with this,
Mm-hmm.
how does that affect financially us living in the township? Are you going to increase our taxes?
No.
Then if you're not going to do that, what else might you do that hurts us financially?
Nothing.
And you all have the money for that.
Yes.
And where'd that money come from?
You.
Previously, it
Yes.
came from us.
Yes. And it'll continue to come from you. In fact, I will say, was it last year or the year before, we cut what we can charge in taxes. We cut your income taxes, your property taxes. We cut them already once. We were the first one to do it. Right, Henry? Yeah. So even with that, and we're not going to raise them again.
For 2 years, 1 year?
Well, as long as I'm here, I don't know. 40? I don't know.
Don't think you're going to live that long.
Probably not. No. No, it's not going to cost anybody. See, the way Cannon does it is we have $2 million in a capital improvement fund, right? And it's for things like this, right? So we're going to use that. And then we are going to take from the general fund as this project continues, replenish capital improvement, and we're going to pay for it out of capital improvement. All the while, it's not going to take long to build this thing. It'll be done next year. And then what we're going to do is then work on what we have been doing is replenish the general fund and the capital improvement fund without raising any taxes or assessments or anything.
Okay, thank you.
I promised that. Yes.
I will say that taxes are a very small portion of the funding that Cannon Township has to continue operations. The large part comes from state revenue sharing. That's the majority of what we get. When we lowered property taxes 5%, we could have, and we didn't, but it didn't affect your taxes that much. And when Steve says we won't raise them again, it's not us that raises them when we do. With the Headley Amendment and the prop,
we won't raise our portion.
Yeah, our portion will not go up. It actually goes down every year based on the property values that go up. So we collect the same amount of money out of the property, even though your property values goes up. We go from like a .7195. You know, if they take it out 4 decimal places to a .7099. I mean, it goes down based on what the property values go up. The only new taxes we get is new construction. Or if somebody buys your house that also has a house in Lansing, then there's an extra 18 mils that goes on that property. But otherwise, the only tax increase you're going to get is from Hadley, that is 5% or inflation, whichever is least. And that's every year. That's the state law. That's what's signed into the Constitution. We don't have a choice on that.
But we did cut it a couple years ago by 5%. And that's going to stay. Who's next? Anybody? Mark, come on up.
My name is Mark Radius. I live at 7718 Greenbrier Drive. I am the past president of the Silver Lake Condominium Association, and I'm currently the project manager for the Silver Lake Condominium Association on all things related to the new development going on in our neighborhood and the park and the sewer lift station, which has been marvelously completed ahead of schedule. So
ahead of schedule?
Yeah. So I want to speak in favor of this. I applaud the township for stepping up and picking up the ball that has been dropped and dropped and dropped. And I don't want to get involved in who dropped it and why was it dropped. The fact of the matter is, I was personally involved with the negotiations that led to the creation, the ability of the bulk family park to be created, to facilitate the ability for them to make this donation and get this property secured. And I can tell you that anyone who thinks the township hasn't been in, that this is a Johnny come lately just jumping on the bus here at the last minute with this project is simply uninformed of the facts. I can tell you personally that the township was instrumental in the negotiations that led to the creation of Bulk Family Park. And so it pleases me, it does not surprise me that they are stepping up now in this time when the further development of the park has languished and are stepping up to get it done. Beyond public safety, the most important thing that a township government does for its taxpayers and its citizens is quality of life. And if this is not a quality of life improvement for every citizen of Cannon Township, I don't know what is. So I, again, want to speak 100% in favor of what's happening. I want to say thank you to the township and to the Bulks and to the county for the work that they've done in bringing this amazing asset to our township and our community and our neighborhoods and our families and our kids. I am just delighted that this is happening and moving forward, as are the residents of our community as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Just to be clear, nobody dropped the ball. I can tell you the county went into this with every intention to do this. They worked really hard on this all the way through for the last several years. One of the main reasons we are going to consider stepping up and doing it is because nothing to do with the county, but the fundraising arm, that they just weren't raising enough money to do this. And because of the number of parks they have, the number of projects they have, it was just, the reality is they were doing, I know the parks guys were doing everything they could to keep this moving. And I know that because I know they kept hearing from some of the people involved that were like, when are you going to do this? And they're like, we're trying. And it just, the money just, people were not interested in donating to it. And then it just became a thing where it just, the county's hands were tied. Well, ours may not, if the board votes to do this, our hands are not tied and we can afford to do it. So thank you, Mark. Who's next? We got all night. There's Ben.
Thank you. Ben Swayze. I'm the Kent County Parks Director. Work at 1700 Butterworth Southwest in Grand Rapids. So it isn't every day that we get a community partner that calls us up and asks if they can invest $4 million into one of our parks. I've been with the Parks Department for 2.5 years now, and it's by far the best phone call that I've gotten. So I am incredibly appreciative of what the township is considering tonight. It's an incredible investment for your community. And I will say that the reason that I've been able to convince the administrative leadership of the county to go forward with this is because of the partnership that we've generated over 100 years. So it's the 100-year anniversary of Township Park. What a great way to celebrate that by investing in a new park here. So it's also not often that I get to talk to the administrator and corporate counsel multiple times, multiple days during the week. And that's just a testament to the attention that they're paying to this.
They are, absolutely.
They want to make sure that that agreement is done as fast as possible to ensure that you guys can move forward. So I appreciate it. We are absolutely excited to be a willing partner. A small part that I was able to complete this year is we did get a new park manager position in the county budget, specifically for this park in this region. So we'll continue to invest in the maintenance, and I look forward to the partnership going forward.
Good. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for all the work you already did on it, too. All right. Who's next? A lot of people here. Who wants to say something? Of course you do. I'm surprised you waited this long.
Wayne Gagnon, 7343 Davies Drive. Lived in the township for 40 years now. And I want to thank the Bulk family again for their generous gift. Very nice. And I believe it's been 4 years since that donation came to fruition. And I know the township has been working with the county, working together to make this thing a reality. And I'm in favor of it. I think it's time that we move on and get this thing rolling. And want to thank Rob and Bill for their participation, two reputable contractors and architect. So me and my family are fully in favor of the project.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Who's next? Anybody? You sure? Anybody at all? All right. Well, if nobody else, did you have something, young lady in the front? No, you were just squirming around. Okay. You can say something if you'd like. It's okay if you don't. All right. Well, I need a motion to. Oh, I don't. No, not yet. So, Jessica got some emails from people, and I'm going to read them. I might paraphrase some of them. This is from John Woods, who says, I support the park. It is good for the community. I do not support spending $4 million of the township fund for this park. I thought this fund money was to be used by the township in case of emergencies and defending township ordinances and legal disputes. None of that will change, by the way. I also do not agree with awarding this $4 million without competitive quoting. It will be bid. This should be standard practice for all project of this amount. It will be. I understand that the contractors and service suppliers are agreeing to do this at cost, but what is that? A lot of talk can be said, but until it is on a legally signed contract, it's just talk. There will be contracts, and things change with cost overruns. Canon does not accept or tolerate cost overruns. I also question, does the township now want to get into the business of contracting and constructing parks and buildings? Well, we do that. We're going to build a community center regardless of where it goes. This is just a great place for it. And then we get a park also. We build trails. How many miles of trails do we have? A lot. And we're planning more. And to answer one of the questions somebody raised is, will this affect the rec no, this we're not dipping into the rec budget. Did you ask that? Yes. No, we're not going to dip into the rec budget. We're not dipping into the sewer budget. Those are dedicated budget items. This is all going to be from money that we have, and that's what we're going to use if the board says so. So yes, that. So rest assured, this will not affect the other rec activities and plans. This is why we have a county parks department, and I agree. But they have been wonderful to deal with. I'm sorry they are moving too slow, but that's not but that's government. We all don't like it. Well, it seems to me like that's not a fair statement because we're government too, and we're not going to delay if the board votes this way. So I feel like, no offense to anybody, but one can sit around and complain about how slow government works, or one can do something about it, right? So please, at a minimum, ask the board to send this out for competitive quoting. We'll share the details. Those are all open bids, right, Bill? Okay. We, the township population, not sure how he speaks for the population, but that's okay. I feel deserve to know the details of where the $4 million is going to be spent. We've already started that because in tonight's packet we have the breakdown that has come in under $4 million, by the way, and it'll come in less than that. So, because that's what we do. All right, next, fully, Adam and Karen Vogelzang. We fully support the Balk Family Community Building. This looks like a great use of taxpayer resources and a valuable asset that township residents can benefit from in perpetuity, which is true, it will be. We look forward to taking our family there many times. Thanks for all your work to move this forward and get it done. I think it was addressed to Jessica, but I'm hoping they were talking about the whole board, but that's okay. All right, next up is from, who's this? Amy Hartman. She says, one last thought, what about a putt-putt course or a three-hole golf course? That's not in the plans, but again, who knows? And then she said, thanks. I was just questioning whether disc golf is still in demand these days. I don't hear much about it in my age group. I won't say what that is, but what I do know, but what do I know? Excited to see what happens next. So are we. And then Jessica said, great question. That was done by the county survey teams, et cetera. Okay. So, and again, on the idea of the disc golf, we're not fundamentally changing the plans that the people that participated in the development of this have done over 4 years. The work has already been done. So it looks like we're just jumping in here and just making this stuff up. No, this has all been done already for 4 years. We're just going to finish it and do it if the board votes to do that. This is from Judy Sharam. How, I say that because it's spelled that way, about getting those fuddy-duddies at Cannon to put up tornado sirens. Don't need all this trails, parks, etc. if no people. There's 6 lakes around here and people spend time outside. I do not take phone outside. No radio on, doing yard work, people boating, swimming. If tornado, we would not know it. Not sure that's a true statement, but there's cell towers. Why not a siren? There's one at 7 Mile, but we can't hear it. See what you can do. So we have addressed that before. I sent something out. Was that a communicator? What was that in? I put something out. I talked to the chief because I said I would look into this a long time ago. And Chief, how many would we need for as far as sirens to cover the entire township? It was an insane amount.
The effective outside range of the siren is roughly 3/4 to 1 mile.
So in a 6x6, how many would we need?
You would be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12.
Yeah.
To cover the entire township.
And how old is that technology?
Well, the tornado sirens were developed back in the civil defense years of the country. So basically, it came out in the 30s and 40s as a civil defense warning system. And then once that demand dropped, they started using them for alerting tornadoes.
Right. And so my thing is, I think, yeah. So, all right. So that's that. So here's one from Leslie Martinez. I'm going to read it, although I don't. Okay. Well, very clever, Jessica. The last sentence has to do with the park, but that's okay. I'm going to read it anyway. I just wanted to say that I appreciate your communication so much. She's very good at that. I have been a resident of Cannon Township for 10 years, and I have never felt as connected as I do now to what is happening in our township. Thank you. All right. Every email that you have sent, I have read in detail, and I feel informed. I appreciate the links to watch meetings, the agendas, and meeting minutes, and the important dates. Everything is just so organized and easy to read so that I can stay updated on what's happening. I'm so grateful for the time, effort, and care you put into keeping us informed. You truly make a difference in our community. Gee, I wonder why you wanted this one in there. Also, apparently as a side note, I really am excited about the park. I'm a Rockford Elementary teacher, and I think it would be an incredible improvement to Cannon Township. Well, I think all those things, including that's true. All right, Cindy Gile, thank you for your letter and for your request for input. I most definitely want the park to move forward. We have waited long enough, and we should honor the Balk family vision for the money and the land. All right. All right, this one's a little long, but I'm going to read most of it. Hey, Jess, I think it is a shame that the township keeps approving spending residents' tax dollars on county and local projects without at least letting residents vote in a normal fashion. Doug, is that even something that's possible? No. Okay. And why?
Michigan courts do not allow advisory votes. I think the assumption is we have a Republican form of government, and that would open Pandora's box.
Right.
And you would be petitioned for votes on hundreds of subjects. You'd be voting all the time. So
All right.
no votes can occur on
Advisory basis. Right. Projects tend to get approved for funding based on the bias of the board and committees feeding the board, like what, roads and fire? Okay. And handfuls of vocal residents, while the silent majority pay the majority of the taxes. Things continue to be approved for funding and often without enough consideration for the long-term implications, maintenance, nor enforcement plans. Look at the history of the relatively new existing trails, courts, playgrounds, and parks. Even the millions spent on Belding Road have been a curse for local residents as traffic in general and tractor-trailer rigs speed through our community at 10 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limits, some losing trash along the way in huge volumes as they now feel it is a freeway with virtually no law enforcement. We do have law enforcement. We have a dedicated deputy, and that is a state road, right?
Correct.
And we don't have any say over those improvements.
Correct.
Correct. Let's hold off and slow down the dash to now fund the bulk park. In all honesty, what is the need or hurry? It has not been years ago that the funding drive started. If my memory is correct, the big bash and rah-rah event wasn't even a year ago. Heck, why don't we have a vote and the township buy the property or have it, Balk family and Kent County involved, transferred to the township then? If it really comes down to the township spending $4 million on a $1.7 million gift given to the county, and once you spend the $4 million, what's required next to care for it, by the way, that will pay for itself, then we should open the book on the entire park proposal, we are, as it stands. Then we could reduce the scope, plans, and costs considerably and or at least decide to charge users a minor fee for use, traffic control, maintenance, enforcement, animal control, etc. As the project and process stand now, the costs again will fall mostly on the silent majority of the township residents. As I explained earlier, this will have no property tax ramifications at all. and the maintenance will pay for itself. Furthermore, the township will have no idea who is even utilizing the plan's facilities. That's not true because when we own and maintain and control the building, the scheduling of events, showers, wedding, things like that will be through the township, which is likely currently the case with most existing facilities. No, it's not. Sorry, long way to say I do not support the rush to spend the township tax dollars on more park facilities. I believe the existing facilities get a lot of press and are still underutilized. I'm away on vacation, cannot attend the meeting, but you're invited comments, so I'm giving you my thoughts. I believe much more careful consideration should be given to the process and the project. This is from Jared Ellier. The problem I have is hearing that we have so much money sitting around that we can just allocate $4 million to this. I'm paying, I won't tell you how much. If that leads to so much money that the township can just throw $4 million at this project, I would vote to lower taxes. I think the way I'll read this anyway. I think the way the supervisor talked about having the money sitting around was a mistake on his part. Okay? How are you going to pay for it if we don't have the money? Right? Anyway. Also, I call it good government. Right? But anyway, it wasn't a mistake. I did it on purpose. Also, if the county will pay it and we just have to wait longer, that's kind of the point, let the county do it. I think this is impatience and impulsiveness driven. That probably is with me true, right, Doug? You know me. Yeah, okay. That's my 2 cents. Thank you for what you do and having our interests at heart. That, I think, was directed to you, because obviously it wasn't directed to me. So who was that first one? Oh, that John Wood was the first one. Well, he wrote another one with his wife, Sheila. Hi, Jessica. We cannot make the meeting as we are on vacation in Europe. We would like to let you know how vehemently we disagree with moving the park entrance to Sunfish Lake. Not our call, that's the state.
That's the state.
And all of the road work planned to go with it. That's the state. It will bring much unwanted traffic to our road. State's already approved it, so we have no say in that. To our road, which isn't meant to take it. It is a narrow, curvy country road with no shoulder. If we could attend the meeting, we would. Please add our feelings. And then this one is from Janet Champ, directed. I always read your newsletters. I say vote for Cannon Township to complete the Balk Family Park as long as the money is there, and not being subtracted from something else. No diminution in any services, no increase in taxes. So with that, anybody else want to add anything to that? Anybody? Yeah, Mark, come on back up if you want.
Park radius, 7718 Greenbrier.
Remember, you're still under oath. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Don't abandon the disc golf.
What?
Don't abandon the disc golf. I am not a disc golfer, all right? But I know that a lot of people in my children's age who are now grown and out of our house, we're empty nesters, but are very interested in disc golf. So I would just encourage, just like the pickleball courts, I think it would be an asset to our community that would be enjoyed by perhaps a certain segment of the community, but why shouldn't we try and add things to parks? You know, I would say, well, I'm not going to ever play on a playground, nuts to that playground. No, that's not very positive, good thinking. Let's have things that all ranges of people and likes and dislikes can enjoy, like, you know, the all the bike trails and everything at Luton Park and everything, you know, It's wonderful, but that's not for everybody.
Right.
Doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
No, and this work has already been done. And by the way, there's plenty for everybody on this because there's also open spaces. And one thing that I was asked to consider would be in where some of this open space is, not near Wildermere, please, a dog park. And I think that will probably end up doing that. So a dog park. So that's why some of this is still left open, because there are things we can put into it. So everybody can enjoy this thing. There's going to be bird watching towers, and there's going to be decks that overlook outdoor classrooms for kids. I'm telling you, this is going to be a gem and a crown in not only our crown, but the county's crown. And like King and William and Mary, we share the crown on this one, right? So that was my Anglophile thing. So, all right. So,
Can I just say something, Steve?
Yes.
I just want to thank everyone who sent me messages so that we were able to share this with the board. I really do enjoy sharing our newsletter or our agendas with the community. And
yes.
I'm so grateful that you guys feel comfortable to share your opinions, because all of us up here really take it to heart. And
we do.
And I appreciate all the nice comments that you say about me too in the process too. So, and I like when Steve reads them. So thank you.
Yeah, come on, Ray.
Ray Molden, 5769 4 Mile, barely in the township, but I'm there.
Oh, you mean you're like barely in the township? Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm a little more there, but anyway.
I don't know.
I just like to say that I really think this is a wonderful deal. And if the board should decide to go ahead with it, I'd like to contribute some money to put a brick paver, part of the entranceway in, and whatever we want to charge as a fundraiser for that, I'm on it.
That is good, because well, let's go on. We're going to talk about all of this.
That's
but
what I wanted to say.
Good. Thank you. Who else wants to date? Wayne, did you have something else to say?
I just want to know, is the county or the township going to run the further development for donations?
Well, we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Wayne. So anybody else have anything? Because we can close the public hearing. Last chance. Anybody? If you think it's, yeah, come on up. Just come up, because it's on the video and they can't hear or see anything. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. So
Those other things that you mentioned, maybe a dog park, viewing areas.
no, yes.
Yeah. Why can't you put in a splash pad for the kids?
Todd can talk about this more. He kind of already addressed that. The problem that, as I see it, because I talked to the chief, the problem with splash pad is they are very intensive as far as water filters, water sources. You have to have someone manage it. You have to have a tremendous maintenance, and they're extremely expensive.
And couldn't occur that?
Todd, that's more of a rec committee thing,
right? So, splash pads come up all the time because it does score fairly high on our surveys. So it's not something we're against. We just haven't made sense of it yet, because it is, like Supervisor was saying, it's very, very expensive to maintain, and we use them for 3 or 4 months out of the year. So, I would love to see a splash pad personally. And Ben will tell you, I've had numerous conversations with him about a splash pad, which normally gives Kent County a little bit of heartburn, because they are expensive and very difficult to maintain, and you got to have certified pool operators. You've got to have a lot of things that go with it. Now, the township, we're just not equipped to do that. So if we could partner with somebody that has that infrastructure built, like Kent County, if they're willing to do it, I can't speak for them, but if they're willing to do it, that would start to make some sense.
Okay.
So
Also,
that might be a future project, not a today project, because we have to save money for that.
okay. And you said maybe 3 to 4 months out of the year. I moved here from Iowa. Iowa uses their splash pads in the winter as ice skating rinks.
Okay.
Very big in the parks there.
Okay.
Can I ask where in Iowa?
Cedar Rapids.
I'm from Fort Dodge. So
Lived in Cedar Rapids
Yeah.
for 2 years, and all those parks around there, ice rinks
Yep.
out of
Okay.
the splash pads,
Excellent.
because they had a little lip on them.
Yeah. We actually talked about doing that with the pickleball courts. We were going to make that into an ice rink in the wintertime, but when it came down to the engineering of it, it just didn't make sense in the end. So that idea fell apart. But
One
great
of
idea.
the other things that kind of, as far as I remember, back in 2020, COVID, because that really kind of derailed, at least temporarily, the whole splash pad thing with using water for people and the whole thing. I don't know if that's a thing that it just kind of COVID derailed a lot of things though, but I know that they continue to look at it. The question is, do we have the manpower and the capability to make it work? I don't know, but they're working on that. Okay. Who else? Anybody? Nobody? All right. We'll have a motion to close the public hearing, please.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. So we're going to discuss this now, and then we're going to take a vote. If you think of something else, even though the public hearing is closed, raise your hand. If you sit over here, because I don't see out of this eye, get my attention some other way. Yell at somebody over here to raise their hand. So unless I'm looking over here. So anyway, so here, this is the thing. So let's go work backwards. The fundraising thing. So the county had retained a group to do that. Through no lack of effort, it just didn't work out. And so the money that has been pledged, one of the things we're talking to the county about is that what has been pledged but unused will go to this project. What has been used, the county will be reimbursed for what they have, which they'll take the money that they've spent, which is perfectly fair and reasonable because they've spent the money. Now, as far as raising money, Bulk has agreed to kind of put forth an effort to raise the money. And so I think that what'll happen here, is going to get started on that right away. It could be bricks. It could be anything. There's going to be naming opportunities. There's going to be all kinds of things because I know that how Cannon is, how the residents of Cannon are, and that is exemplified by the Balks, the Visser Brothers Construction and Andrus Architects. And I think the vast majority of people in the township want to play a part in that too. And so that is going to get on that, and that will all be done very publicly. If you have any ideas on any of that, Cy's email is on the website, cbalk@canontwp.org, right? Get with Cy, and if you want to participate in that with Cy, right? Yeah, and so that's that. So now, who has anything they would like to say about this?
Steve?
What? Go ahead.
I would like to address one issue that's come up. Cy Bulk is on the board. I hope he intends to run again next time. And it was question to come up with his family name on the park. Is that a violation of the Michigan election law? So we're planning on using the building to house our elections in the future. We're designing it big enough and robust enough that we won't have to be split up all over the township. The infrastructure will be there. It'll be all set up.
Which will also save money on elections.
And it also saves us money on every election. About $22,000 per election. So it's not insignificant. But it is not a violation of the Michigan election law. The Bulk's name will be on the park entrance, which is about 400 feet from the building, and the minimum is 100 feet. In talking with the Bulks and some other stuff, the name of the building may be changed to the Cannon Township Community Center.
Right. I talked today with the Balks about that, and since the people of Cannon Township are paying for the building, the Balks said we ought to name it after the township. And so it's going to be the Cannon Township Center, and there's going to be a plaque in there recognizing their generosity, the generosity of anybody else that wants to donate this thing. But the big focus on the plaque inside is going to be through the generosity of the people of Cannon Township, because Cannon Township, we're all paying for it. So
I checked with Bureau of Elections in Lansing. I checked with our local bureau, and I checked with Michigan Township Association, and they all said, nope, doesn't violate anything we can find. You want to check with your lawyer.
Doug?
I didn't check with Doug, but I did check with our Micah Myers lawyer.
Well, let's get a second opinion.
Yeah, now that I have my own.
Yeah, you got your own name.
Although I did notice after 20 years, it's nice to have the recognition, but there's a lubricant on this thing. It's really easy to
remove
removable. My name from the placard.
It is removable.
With it? Gosh, that's just not right.
Yeah, I don't see any problem at all. I do a lot of election work. We use churches for polling places. So I agree with the state officials. There's no problem,
All right.
no confusion on that
I
issue.
just wanted to dot that I before anybody raised the question. So
All right. Who else? Anybody? What do you all have to say? All of that, and no one's going to say. And Todd started to say something.
You want me to say something?
do.
I'll say it. Well, this fuddy duddy, by the way, I did get a kick out of being called a fuddy duddy. I like.
Oh, I am a total fuddy-duddy.
One thing I will mention, I know that there's been some question about the bidding process for the playground. That was one of the things. The company that's doing it, Outdoor Discovery Center, is the same company that built the playground at Rockford Christian School. If you've seen it, it's not like we can go out and find 5 people that do that kind of work. They're very, very specific in what they do. They use natural materials, stones, timbers, logs, and they build this outdoor natural surface kind of playground. So that being said, SAI's working on donations, and we hope, we'll see, we'd love to find somebody that would be willing to donate that cost of that playground. So we have a few leads, nothing concrete or firm yet, but if we get that paid for, that changes everything, right? So
well, it changes that
piece of it,
right?
And then the building itself, that's going to be bid out.
Yeah, and of course, the building's going to be bid out, and we've already with our involvement in this thing, well, not just because we're involved, but we've already found ways to. The county actually worked on the Dykema proposal for the parking lot and the construction of that, and we found they got with the state of Michigan MDOT, and they found some ways to work on the curb cuts, and so the Dykema bid had already gone down. So we're already doing what Cannon Township does, and that is get things under budget, because that's what we do.
We did the same on the building. So when we worked on the building, we
they worked
re-engineering it to try to get it down. We recognize that having the election under one roof was a huge savings for the township going forward. So we had to build a building that would handle that election, but not anything bigger than what we need, because you had square footage, you had cost. So, we have a budget of $2 million, and I'm fairly confident that we're going to get well under that. So,
all right. Yes. What? Yeah. Yes. It's right over there. Yes, it's big enough to handle that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea with the kitchen, by the way, is they call it a warming kitchen. So it's designed so that if you bring food, you want to put it in something to keep it warm. It'll have a sink, a deep stainless steel sink, several of them to be able to clean up all your stuff, a lot of outlets so you can plug in things like your crock pots and your different warmers and things. So it's designed specifically for entertaining and for groups entertaining. If anyone's familiar with the community cabin in Rockford, very similar to the kitchen that's in the community cabin in Rockford. So Robert Andrus, who's here tonight, he designed that one too. So he's designing the same kind of kitchen. But we also looked at that square footage. Everything we did, we questioned every single space in that building to say, okay, what can we do? And let's build it for what we need and not anything more to try to reduce costs.
And so the first time we met with Robert, we said, look, we want to get this done soon. We want to keep this thing moving. And he said, okay. And so that afternoon, he emails his first drawings, and I called him up and I said, look, Robert, I know you're doing this for free, but if this is the attention you're giving this thing, we have to have a talk. I mean, it was that day that we got it. So he's totally into this. So
yeah,
yes. And you'll see over there, it's going to be big enough to not only do all the precincts in the elections. So we have one place to go. It's going to have indoor bathrooms. It's going to have outdoor bathrooms for people that are using the facility year round, whether the building's open or not. It's going to have storage for not only the election equipment, which is fine with elections people, by the way, right? Have it there. That's fine too. We checked all that. But it's also going to have storage for all the tables and everything for any event that's going to be there. And how many, Robert, is that going to hold?
Depends on the setup. Right now, it's set up for tables and chairs for, say, a banquet type of operation, about 160 people.
Okay.
So if you have election, starting in October, then you can have a
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question? Anything else? Okay.
Speaking about the design of the building, I'd like to just mention to the group, the reason why we kind of went with this design is that if you look at the two peaks of the roof, the higher peak, that flat section there will have windows across it and will face the southeast. It's designed to have a lot of natural light that'll come into the building. It should be a beautiful space. So the three sides of that big room is going to be all glass. The side that is the longest side facing the northwest, that'll actually be, I think it was 11 feet high, wasn't it, Robert? Those windows. So you're going to, as you come into that space, it's going to be a very dramatic space with a lot of glass from floor to ceiling. The focal point in the center is going to be a gas fireplace that's not going to be, it's going to be a tamper-proof fireplace, so nobody's going to be putting plates in there, paper plates to burn. That's the hope anyways. I will tell you that the fireplace is something that may get cut if our budget, if we will not go over budget. We will
not go over budget.
We will not go over budget, but I would love to see that fireplace in there because it's designed so that on the inside you can sit around, and we're building a patio on the outside. It'll have basically a switch. If you again, the Rockford Community Cabin, if you've ever been there and used that fireplace there, it's a switch on the wall. You flip a switch, so nobody's tampering with gas valves and lighting stuff. It's completely as trouble-free as you can get and tamper-proof. But it'd have the same fireplace on the outside. So the folks on the outside, we're hoping to have a little seating area out on that patio, and they could flip a switch and have that fireplace right there. That switch would also be wired up to a timer, so that when the park is closed, that also shuts off. So we don't have to worry about people sneaking into the park at 2 a.m. and turn the fireplace off and hanging out. We've thought about a lot of these things. So anyways, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful space. It's going to have a standing seam steel roof on it, which is something that was important to us because that's maintenance free, and will last, a long, long time. Yeah, Ray? Mm-hmm. At this time, we're not. We're hyper focused on trying to stay under budget. So, not that solar panels don't have merit, but right now we're not. Yeah.
Okay, we can look at it. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think the facilities committee looked at that fairly thoroughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if there was an architectural reason, but my understanding was you all kind of decided to go with the roof you're choosing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, does somebody, if nobody up here has anything to say, does somebody want to make a motion? Anybody want to make a motion?
I guess I don't know how to.
Yeah, you're on.
I'm on. Okay. I make a motion that we go forward with the plans and the
Not to exceed $4 million.
not to exceed $4 million and to start as soon as possible.
I will second it.
It's been moved and supported on this one. Nancy, how about a roll call?
Jim,
Yes.
Cy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jessica.
Yes, but can I make a friendly amendment that the contracts turn out good as well? So
The what?
that the contracts, once we have them, that are still all in line with what we've discussed this night.
Oh, that's yeah.
Well, the contracts, yeah.
Yeah.
They will. Yes. What's that? It's not to exceed. It's not going to exceed $4 million.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
All right. Good. I promise you all, we will not disappoint you. You're going to be thrilled with what this looks like. All right. What else? All right. That's closed. So that's the last thing. So you do not have to stay for the rest of the meeting, even though they're.
It's gonna be super.
Are we done already? You turned my thing off. No? Okay. Want to go home or something? All right. New business. Oh, Chief, paid on call personnel.
So we interviewed some more paid on call personnel applicants, and in viewing them, we have 3 persons that we would like to bring on as a probationary paid on call.
Okay.
And that is John Miller, who is already a paramedic. Beth Walker, who lives just a couple houses down from Station 1. And then a Braden Deer. He is be our youngest applicant. He has showed interest. His dad is one of our firefighters, and he has came to some of the calls with him, and he's sparked an interest. And so I'm asking board approval to bring these 3 personnel on as paid on call probationary firefighters.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Henry, who do you want to appoint?
Andrew. I wish I knew how to pronounce Andrew's last name, but I don't, so I'm not going to try.
Jim.
What? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right. What did you have? You wanted to say something.
I just want to ask Jim, are any of the firefighters here?
No, they're not.
Okay.
All right.
I have the.
All right. So,
We need to appoint him to the planning.
Andrew, say it again. I'm sorry, one more time. Akmani. All right. Is that a motion, Henry?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, the same. Why don't you come in and get sworn in now, and you'll be on there. So that everyone on TV can see.
Hopefully I can read it. Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Cannon Township Zoning Board of Appeals alternate in the Township of Cannon, County of Kent, and the state of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
I do. Thank you for willingness us to
I
serve.
need your
All right.
Henry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We have no correspondence unless you want me to read all those again, which I'm not. Any committee reports?
I
Ben,
have.
Go ahead.
I'm under board comment. I got.
Oh, well, here's kind of a committee report. Sewer committee. Van Essen just left. I don't know why, but that's okay. We have developed I tell you every now and then about what the state of Michigan through Doug. I'm just starting to give a sewer committee report on what's going on with sewer and the the phenomenal plan we have in place with you and Donnell. Do you want to just speak a little bit to it?
Well, as many of you know, PFAS has become the chemical du jour, right? It's been something that struck our community here in the northern Kent County area. Nationally, it's been added to those chemicals that are prohibited, subject to CERCLA as hazardous waste. And there's been a movement to add PFAS limits to sewage disposal national pollution discharge elimination system permits, NPDES permits. So at the end of every treatment system, you generate treated water. That water has to either be put in a surface river or lake, or it must be put in a lagoon that seeps into the groundwater. And so you have these permits. We have a unique challenge in our community because 20 square miles of the sewage pipes that run from Rockford and northern Plainfield Charter Township flow through the Wolverine PFAS plume that the state in its infinite wisdom decided should not be cleaned up by Wolverine. And in part, I served as Plainfield's attorney and I agreed with that because there's no practical way of getting that water out of the groundwater. It would be cost prohibitive. It would have killed the company. Nevertheless, we're going to end up at North Kent, even though Cannon Township's not contributing any PFAS.
Zero.
And even though North Kent has gone to all of its commercial and industrial users, and it's verified that they're not putting PFAS into their sewage, So the relatively high rates that we have, and these are all parts per trillion. So, I mean, they're minute amounts to begin with, but nevertheless, there is some 200 parts per trillion that's coming out of the North Kent sewer system. No system in the world presently treats sewage for PFAS, but we're going to end up with a PFAS limitation that Eagle, our state environmental department, knows we cannot meet. And they have promised, well, we'll work on timetables for you to get in compliance. We'll work on easing any fines or anything for your violations. And, the common sense of the leadership of North Kent says never agree to something you cannot meet. And while we all hope that there is an efficient way of treating this material that emerges in the future, who knows when that might be. And so we've analyzed the requirements of federal law, and we've come to the conclusion that neither the federal government, which is not pushing this issue, nor the state of Michigan can require a sewage treatment company to treat intake water. And this is water that's coming into our pipes over that 20 square mile run. And most people don't know this, but the reality is that when sewage hits the treatment plant, as much as 50% of the flow is stormwater and groundwater that's infiltrated the leads and the service pipes in the hundreds of miles that most systems serve before that sewage gets to the treatment plant. So our theory is that they can require a PFAS limit on our sewage, but they cannot require our community to clean up groundwater that ends up infiltrating our pipes and that's already in the watershed. It's not like we're adding chemicals to the watershed, and they didn't require Wolverine that polluted it to clean it up. Why would they require the innocent community victims of that pollution to clean up that same groundwater that's infiltrating our treatment system? So believe we have a solid legal theory to advance, and frankly, it's going to be something that I'm sure is going to draw a lot of national attention, because there are other communities undoubtedly that are going to have the peculiar issues like ours. And I know that the municipalities across the country will be rooting us on, because the net effect otherwise would be to drive your sewage rates up as much as 50% or more.
Oh, it'd be more than that. I mean, we're talking about $30 million that the state wants us to spend on the facility that would be passed on to sewer users, number one. And then because of the equipment and hardware and technology that we have to install as part of that $30 million, that will cost between $4 and $5 million extra every year just to maintain, which would be passed on to the sewer users. And Doug will tell you, I have emphatically, I chair the thing, and I not been emphatic, said there is no way that we're going to do that, right?
We keep Steve away from Eagle.
Yes.
For diplomatic reasons.
That's true.
But the reality is Plainfield Township treats their water. And the only treatment for PFAS right now is active granulated carbon. And so it absorbs the PFAS. It attracts the PFAS to carbon, and then you have to take that out. It gets used up fairly quickly, and then you have to burn it in very high temperature incinerators. There's no way that you can treat a flow that's as large as a sewer flow with that granulated active carbon without spending, in addition to the $30 million for the infrastructure, as much as $10 million a year in this carbon that has to be removed then and periodically incinerated at some plant somewhere, probably in Canada, because there aren't a lot of good incinerators that could take this material now. So we're probably headed for litigation, and you may want to keep your eyes fixed on it, because I think it will set precedent.
It will. And the other thing is, this is particularly unfair to the people of Cannon because we have spent about $3 million, right, Henry, or so? Coincidental, $4 million. Anyway, $4 million we have spent maintaining and upgrading our system so there is no leaching, there is no infiltration because our system is tight. We don't have any holes in it. And so our contribution to to the system through stormwater and other things that leach in is just about zero. We can't say that for everybody else, but we can say it about Cannon. And so there's no way that we're going to let that happen to, number one, North Kent, but particularly Cannon, right?
Right.
Good. All right. Thank you, Doug. Next up, all right, any other committee reports? Be brief because it's almost 9. Anybody? No? Okay. I have 2 letters that came in. Jessica sent them to me because she's still getting letters. Rebecca Cruttenden and her dog, believe it or not, her Bernese mountain dog, Rainey, are in favor of the park and very glad to see Cannon invest in getting it done. We will use it. And then another one from Tom Cruttenden, who said he wants to see it done too. So that's that. So those are in the record. All right. Extended public comment. Anybody have anything else to say? Nobody? All right. We're adjourned. Thank you. What?
You forgot board comment.
Oh, we don't. No, oh, go ahead.
I have just a couple of quick items. A while back, the board gave permission, or we hired Blake Gardner to do our trail maintenance and work in the cemetery and odd jobs around. He's been putting about 30 hours a week in. We've also just appointed him as the zoning enforcer. So he is ordinance enforcer. So he is picking up signs and doing other stuff for Ed, and he will also be enforcing the parking at BLI.
That's right.
So we're raising his hours to between 32 and 40 hours, so he will be a full-time employee now. So that goes into effect this pay period, Nancy.
Good.
And then Chris Kellogg, our cleaning lady, our receptionist, Anna, is going to college, and her college classes are on Thursday, so she is not here on Thursday. So Chris is coming in at 2 o'clock when she gets off her other job. So from 2 to 5, she'll be putting 3 hours in here as a receptionist.
Good.
Jim, do we need to vote on Blake or make that official? Do we need to do anything on that?
It's a personnel matter, but it's going to be when we vote. Go ahead, make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Is there
I'll support it.
All those in favor of making Blake what is it?
Full-time.
Full-time. Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yep.
Perfect. Can we be adjourned now?
No.
Yes.
No.
What?
No.
Oh, we got more comment. Okay.
Yep. Jim, do you
Just-
have anything going on next week, Wednesday? Shred Day, maybe?
Is that a comment?
That's a question.
Oh, it says board comment. Go ahead.
Isn't the 17th Shred Day?
What?
Oh, yeah, next week. I haven't seen that yet. We're having a shred truck come in out here from 1 to 3. Is that the 17th?
Yeah.
So we'll be shredding the township, our old ballots.
The township.
The township ballots from previous elections, and we're opening up to the public. So if you have documents that you want to bring in between 1 and 3, they dump them in a tub, and you can watch them go up and run through the shredder. They got a little video camera that you can say, "Oh my goodness, they're storing all my stuff."
Cool.
So that'll happen from 1 to 3 on the 17th.
From now on, we're going to run all board comment through me before the. No, go ahead. What's next? What else do you got? What other questions do you have, Henry? Jessica, do you have any comments?
I just wanted to wish Jim happy birthday since yesterday was his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Have a great day.
I'd say we could sing, but I think we all want to get out of here.
Cool. All right, David.
Okay, real quick. January 23rd, 2026. There will be a talent show, and it's sponsored by Rockford's Got Talent. Stay tuned for details.
Okay. What do you guys have? Anything?
September 30th, that's a Tuesday night, is the 100-year celebration of Townsend Park. So come on down, have a great time. We're going to have a bike ride and a fun run and food and beverages and they're doing some like natural education, talking about streams and flower and faunas and all that kind of stuff. So very smart people are coming to do that.
All right.
And if you want to volunteer at that event, we put some links out on Canton Township Facebook page, or talk to me about volunteering at that event as well. We need some help parking, food service, throw the run for the bike. So anything that you're interested in, come see us. Thank you.
And stay tuned on fundraising, right?
And the painted rocks are on the trail from kids rock painting, and they really look cool. So
good.
Little loop around back, take a walk, and it's really cool.
All right. Now we're adjourned. Thank